right. You're hoping you didn't make a mistake on the record or something. This time around, you could just sit back, like looking at your family at home movies or something, just look back and go, wow, you know. You could see John and sort of see a portrait of John, see a portrait of George Ringo, see how we connected. And I really enjoyed it.
Did you realise the enormity of the time? Because, I mean, you were the Beatles, so...
Yeah, we realised, yeah, we did. We realised. But when it was all put together in that show, it proved it. I think we all felt it. You couldn't not be in it and not feel it. You'd have no feelings at all, you know, you'd be totally insensitive to not feel it when Shea Stadium was going down, or Ed Sullivan, you know, or, you know, some of the records we were making. If you didn't notice that, you'd be pretty thick. But, because, you know, so we knew what was going on, but it was going on outside us, and we were in the middle of it all. And what happened with the anthology is suddenly I was outside it all with people, watching it for the first time, which was quite something.
Fresh-faced Paul was always the most eligible bachelor amongst the Beatles. He went out for many years with the actress Jane Asher, and many saw them as the perfect match. But in 1969, he surprised his fans by marrying Linda Eastman, a socialite photographer from America.
I had a few girlfriends before Linda, and they were kind of almost serious, but when I met Linda, I knew it was very serious, in a kind of non-serious way, really. That was almost what was good about it. It was like we had a laugh together, you know, and it wasn't like sort of serious love. It was just like we just got on well. And so when we got together, I think she was from quite a wealthy family in America, and she didn't really like that very wealthy lifestyle. She'd been into big houses in where she was brought up, very rich people, and there'd maybe been two people rattling around in this big old house, and she didn't like the atmosphere. She'd go, God, you know, I don't like that. I'd rather have a small house and a smell of some cooking going on and family stuff, you know. So she was very like that. And me coming from Liverpool, I'd always been very like that. Even though we got all the Beatles fame and everything, I still like that. So when the two of us got together, it was like, okay, well, if we have kids, you know, we don't want to really pressure them. We just want them to have good hearts. It all sounds very, you know, get the violins out, but it is very much what we thought. It was our priority to keep our feet on the ground. And knowing that I already had quite a bit of money by that stage, knowing you were bringing up kids who were going to have money around, the one thing always worried me about rich kids was that they were spoiled and they were snotty little brats often, you know. So we thought, well, we'll try and keep that a priority, that our kids don't get spoiled. So Linda never had a nanny. She always did the cooking and stuff. So, I mean, at one point it was ridiculous. We actually lived in a 2-bedroom house with 4 kids. I mean, that's silly, but it was very close.
His daughter Stella was recently made chief designer with the French fashion house Chloe. Just 25 and relatively inexperienced, she was judged by some critics to owe her high-profile job to her famous name.
It's par for the course. It's what people always just call the price of fame. You know, as you're getting famous, they'll say, you know, it's the price of fame. And it is the price of fame. She's very cool about it. She knows. Because you see, the kids, that was one of the things, they went through state schools, so they got all of that early on. When they were little, they'd have people following them going, Mullikintyre, and so they had to learn to sort of say, hey, you know, and deal with it young. So she's very cool, you know. Someone said to her, I think Mr. Lagerfeld, whose job she took over, said something a little bit bitchy in the press, you know. And someone said to her, how are you going to deal with that? You know, she said, I think I'll send him some flowers and thank him for the mention. You know, it hurts a little bit, but not much, because you know that whatever you do, people have to do that. There was a radio show the other day, and my son came home, and they'd taken a little bit of a knock at Stella. It was one of those where somebody said, of course, you know, it was just guts and talent that got her the job, nothing to do with the name. Which is a cheap shot.
You must be very proud of your kids, because James on this album too, isn't he? I mean, that must have been terrific, was it, recording with your son?
Yeah.
What's it like?
It's fantastic, you know. we've always said we keep the kids out of the limelight, and we have done for a long time. And people said, are they musical? You know, you want to get them in music. I said, well, you know, I wouldn't push them into it because they're going to be the son of or the daughter of. Like you're saying, you know, it's inevitable. People can't ignore that fact. But we've always said, me and Linda, you know, that if they just have got a natural talent for something, then we'll push them. Then we'll support them like any parents would, you know. So, yeah, it was fantastic. So the time's arrived now. You know, the youngest now, James, is 19. So they're entering professions out of their own free will. And I think he's a really good musician, you know. So we came in the studio here, and I had a song that needed a little solo in the middle of it. So I said, well, look, if I play a bit of acoustic guitar, maybe you could answer it with electric, you know. And we had a great little session. It was lovely. We read each other, like as if we'd been in a band 20 years, but we'd known each other for 19 years. And similarly with the kids, you know, they're now finding their own way, and they're doing it themselves. That's the thing, you know, we're not really pushing them. We send them flowers and congratulate them, but she's the one who's
That's
got...
like any parent.
Yeah. You know, we just thought the other day, because of the whole fame thing, we never collect press cuttings. But we just got to the point where we've got to. We thought, well, any proud mum and dad would do that. We've got to collect the press cuttings. So we're busily collecting all the press cuttings now.
How do you relax? I've seen some lovely pictures of you and Linda riding together. How do you switch off when you're here?
Well, that's that kind of thing. Linda has always loved horses, and she's been a great rider for a long time, so she taught me to ride about 20 years ago. So we love horse riding. We don't kind of gallop around everywhere, we pretty much sort of walk around, you know. It's very gentle and very... I love the countryside. I have hobbies like I like making paths through woods.
How do you do that then?
You just get a chainsaw.
Lovely.
You get your hat on, a big pair of gloves. I love it. It's very therapeutic to me. It's around these kind of places, around farms and stuff, a lot of people there'll be a woods, and they don't go in it for 20 years, but because where I used to live in Liverpool, whenever there was a woods, we went in it. Woods are for going in, you know. So where I lived, a lot of woods, and on my farm there were woods that no one had been in for years. So because we ride horses, I like to go in the woods, make a path, and then the next day I can say to Linda, I've made a new path. You want to come and see it, you know? And it's just a thing of mine. I think I've made over 5 miles of paths.
You're allowed to do this. Should we be telling the National Trust?
Oh yeah, no, it's my woods.
Oh, that's all right.
Over my woods, yeah.